Hey Tennyson Timberwolves, my name is Michelle and I'm a volunteer at the Colorado Wolf and Wildlife Center, and today we're going to talk about the similarities between wolves, like Navi here, and human families. Gray wolves, like Navi here, at one time ranged throughout the lower 48 states and Canada, Alaska, and a lot of parts of Europe as well, all throughout the northern hemisphere, in fact. Unfortunately, as Europeans started to settle the Americas, we started extermination programs for wolves and other predators, and we unfortunately were very, very successful. By the mid-1900s, there were less than a dozen gray wolves left in the lower 48 states, and that was out in Minnesota. Now, wolves were put on the endangered species list in 1973, and since that time they started to recover. Of course, a lot of us are very familiar with the reintroduction that took place into Yellowstone and central Idaho back in 1995 and 96. But what a lot of people fail to realize is how similar wolves are to people. When you get right down to it, their behaviors and their social structures are almost eerily similar to how people are structured. In fact, there's a lot of talk about how humans and chimpanzees have a lot of similarities, but that's only biological, that's not social. Wolves have the most complex social structure known to man. They live in families. It's their mom and the dad, which sometimes gets called the alpha wolf. And then all the other wolves in the pack are their family. Most of the time it would be puppies from the mom and the dad, which are the alphas, but it can also be older adults or even an older brother or sister to one of the parents. Now, unfortunately, we talk about wolves living in packs when really they do live in a family. But unfortunately, a lot of the ways that we talk about their social structures are incorrect. When we think of wolves being an alpha, we're thinking about them constantly fighting for that top position and dominance, when that doesn't really happen. It does, of course, you see it a lot in captivity, and that's unfortunately where a lot of these studies were done, was in captive wolves that are not related. But wolves in the wild, since they are related, they get along very, very well with each other. There's never a lot of fighting within the wolf pack itself. Their parents teach them how to hunt, and they, just like we do, they stay with their families for the first couple years of their life. Now, you think about it, with people, we usually stick with our parents until we're about 18 years old, and then we move out. Now, if you think about in dog years, I know they changed it a little bit. It's not necessarily that you are 7 years per 1 year in dogs, but when an animal like a wolf reaches 2 years old, they reach maturity. So it's basically the equivalent of us turning 18 years old. So wolves will leave their packs about the time they're 2 years old, and that's in the search for another mate. It's not that they're being lone wolves to rebel against their family. They're simply looking for a companion for the rest of their lives. So wolves are monogamous. Once they do find a mate, they do stay with them forever, unless that mate dies for some reason, whether through human-caused hunting and trapping or natural causes. So they're a little bit different from people in that aspect. So while a lot of human families do stay together for their entire lives, sometimes they split up. Now, with wolves, it's very, very rare for them to split up out of their own will. But if there's some kind of extenuating circumstance, like one of those wolves does get killed, they do have to find another mate, because wolf packs survive best together. So they won't survive by themselves for very long. In their families, wolves play, show affection, feed and discipline their young, and they also mourn their dead. I don't know how much you guys have seen, but there has been a couple of pictures out on the internet lately that show a pack of wolves walking through some deep snow. The description incorrectly states that the wolves that are leading the pack are the oldest wolves, and if they were to get ambushed or anything of that sort, the wolves would sacrifice them, the oldest of their pack, so that the younger members would be saved. Well, this, thankfully, is not true. Wolves do take care of their family members for the duration of their lifetime. So even if their family members get old, or they get sick, or if they get injured somehow, the remaining pack members do help take care of them until they pass away or recover. So wolves don't sacrifice their oldest family members. They definitely all stick together and help each other out. Now, I'm not sure how much detail you guys have gone through in your biology classes, but another really neat thing about wolves is that they take care of puppies, even if it's not theirs. So let's say a grizzly bear comes in and they find a female with cubs from another male, or the same thing with lions. If a pride of lions comes in and they find cubs from another male, they generally kill all those cubs because they want their genes to be the ones to pass on. Well, wolves are not like that. Last year in Yellowstone, and it happens a lot, one of the wolves from one of the packs out there ended up getting killed. However, the alpha female was very, very pregnant at the time. And so what they ended up doing was that, believe it or not, the wolf that had killed her mate became her new mate. But that new male is not going to kill those puppies. They do raise them just like they're their own. And it's the same thing if for some reason wolves were to find very, very young puppies in the wild that aren't theirs, they won't kill them. They'll pick them up and they'll take them home and help raise them just like they're their own. So wolves are very family oriented just like that. We don't like to see children alone and neither do wolves. They like to help raise the puppies of even other packs if they get the opportunity to do so. So they're very, very family oriented. And that's how they are like us. So another similarity between wolves and humans is that they are both territorial. Where we might put up fences and put up no trespassing signs, wolves often howl, and of course they pee to mark their territory, but they also will fight for their territory. And fighting often leads to the deaths of wolves in the wild. It's similar to how people, especially in the past, would wage wars in order to gain land. Wolves also have very complex facial expressions, and they use both vocal and body language to communicate with each other. Now, wolves in different parts of the country, in different places of the world, even have different accents, just like us. A lot of the behaviors that we see in humans might not stem from primates, but in fact it actually stems from our observations of wolf packs in the wild and seeing how closely knit their families are and how they take care of each other. The wolf pack is essentially, they are the perfect family. It's the mom and the dad and their kids all trying to survive in the wild. They stick together, they raise their kids, their uncles, aunts, they all help raise the puppies too. So wolves are a lot like us in a lot of ways. And unfortunately, I think that's why a lot of people don't like wolves, is because they are so similar to us. Tennyson Timberwolves, I hope you guys have a great week at school, and we hope that you're going to keep watching some of our videos that we post from the Colorado Wolf and Wildlife Center, and that you guys learned just how similar wolves and people really are, and we hope that you guys keep up the great work that you're doing.